Yes, everyone, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson, and we're going to do a quick transfer review, looking at what the newspapers are saying is happening around Manchester United transfers at the moment. Now, the first one, and the one that catches my eye the most, is this one about Wilfried Zaha. Obviously, Wilf Zaha came in. He was technically Fergie's last signing, but he was sent back to Crystal Palace before coming and joining David Moyes' Manchester United. Didn't work out for him at Old Trafford. There was a lot of rumours about things happening off the pitch, which I think are entirely bogus. I don't think any of that happened. But he never really settled on the pitch. He never really delivered on the pitch. And to be honest, I don't really think he's delivering right now off the pitch. He's definitely delivering more than what we've got in terms of a right winger. I can say that for absolute certainty. But I don't think the numbers that are being thrown around for him, like 70, 80, 100 million pounds, not really sure that that's good value for money. If it was a choice between him and Jaden Sancho, well, for me, Jaden Sancho's getting out there. He's proved it. He's younger. He's hungrier. He's doing it in the top flight. He's doing it in Europe. For me, I would go with Jaden Sancho over what Wilf is currently doing. I think he's got a wonderful dribble on him. He's got a wonderful change of pace. He's got a wonderful change of direction, but I don't think he delivers enough for what people are saying. Now, a lot of talk saying that he's ready to come back and challenge for a spot at United, and to be honest, I can't see how it's true. Now, the fact he's told Palace he wants to leave could be entirely accurate. The fact that United are then thrown into the mix, I don't think so. My own take is that he didn't enjoy his time at United and he isn't very keen on coming back. So I think this is a load of bollocks. And I'm going to say there's absolutely nothing in this one. And for the money involved, I think you can definitely do better. It says in the article here in the Telegraph that Palace want 100 million, although there is a sense that if a fee of 70 million was put on the table, it might be acceptable, which obviously the club are going to deny. Not really feeling that one in the slightest. The next one that we've got then is Dybala. Now, Dybala, hell of a footballer, pulled up some right numbers for Juventus. He's had his nose bent out of shape a little bit with the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus, which, you know what, that happens. That definitely happens. We obviously saw him against us at Old Trafford this time around in the Champions League, which we definitely won't be doing next year. There's a lot of talk of him coming. This seems to me to be one of those Ed Woodward-style signings. Bit of a classy name, bit of a sexy sort of name, but for me, another one that doesn't really go and make a lot of sense. For me, he's not screaming out that we need that sort of player in the way that we would with some of the other positions that we're trying to scout, that we're trying to bring players in for. I always say if world-class players are available, get them in. I'm not sure Dybala is genuine world-class. He's a very good player. He's top flight. He's top level. But is he world-class? Is he going to be the catalyst to turn Manchester United from 6th into title contenders? I don't think anyone's doing it on their own, but I don't think Dybala's got that in him anyway. A year without Champions League football, not ideal. This is obviously in the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable blog, Manchester Evening News. The article says a whole lot of nothing. It's just like United have been linked with Dybala. That's really all this article says, and there's loads of pictures in there for nothing, and then sort of tries to say where he would play, and then mentions that he's got a friendship with Paul Pogba. Like that matters, because everybody else is linking Paul Pogba to an exit, and the likes of Paddy Evra saying that Pogba could move on. So are we really pinning our hopes on that we could sign someone like Paulo Dybala because he's friends with Paul Pogba? Seems a bit of a tenuous link, if you're asking me. Next one that we have got then is in the Mirror. Now, I actually think this one is correct, and I think this is one, I won't say correct, I think this is true. Hannibal Maybury, probably absolutely butchering that name, 16-year-old Monaco player, saying his contract will not be extended at Monaco. This is what United do for the last few years, and you could even go back to Paul Pogba, to be honest, when we brought him from Lens, I think it was that we got him from. I think it was Lens. You sign 16-year-old players, the compensation is minimal. You get in a fantastic player that could be worth tens of, if not over 100 million 3-4 years later on. We've done this with Fosu Mensah, we've done this with Chong, we did this with Nishan Burkhardt. This is something that United definitely go and do. We did it with Leo Connor, and there's been countless other examples that haven't quite made it, but this is what United do, is they take a gamble on 16-year-olds like this that have got a bit of a hype around them. We bring them in, and we see how they go. So 16 years old, never seen him play, don't know how good he is, would think there's probably some truth in that, and we'll see him in the under-18s probably next season. Next up for them is Talk Sport. This is us talking about Carlos Rodriguez. To be honest, this was Monterrey player Carlos Rodriguez. Now, I wouldn't mind if United did start looking elsewhere for bringing players in, but I'm not sure we know the level of what Monterrey play at, to be honest. It's hard enough looking at what under-18s looks like or under-23s looks like and how the player's going to make the step up from there. I think this would be a crazy risk. But do you know what? With us being linked with the likes of Daniel James and Longstaff, maybe this is the sort of signing that United need to be doing. Like I said, again, 22 years old, know absolutely nothing about this guy. To me, it seems probably a load of bollocks, especially with the fact that Talk Sport are the ones that are running with it. But maybe it's one to keep an eye on over the course of the summer. Now, this one sort of broke, I guess, in the last few days. This is in the record. Jasper Cillessen emerges as United target with David Dahea's future in doubt. Now, this was always going to happen. David Daheia looks seemingly like he's not going to sign that contract with Manchester United, which means he could walk away next summer for free. Now, United would be crazy to let that happen. United should absolutely try and tie him down on a contract extension. And if we can't tie him down on a contract extension, I think we should sell him. Now, this isn't the David Daheia of recent years, but that was absolutely tearing it up, winning back-to-back Player of the Year awards. This is a David Daheia in a slump of form. And if it was only a slump of form, but he'd signed the contract for another few years, I don't think any United fan would have the knives out for him, or any United fan would say, do you know what, get rid of him. But let's be honest with ourselves. This is a guy that's tried to leave Manchester United 3 times, and he's not in the greatest form in his life. So do you know what? Do one, as far as I'm concerned. You don't want to be here, don't be here. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a hard enough job building for the future with what's going on around him in the league and what other people are doing in terms of strengthening. We could see some serious superstars leave this summer. And do you know what? Half of me is absolutely flapping about it, going, Jesus Christ, we are not a better football team if we lose Martial, if we lose Paul Pogba, if we lose David De Gea, if we lose Herrera, even if we lose Lukaku and Sanchez, who haven't pulled trees up, who haven't necessarily been a success while they've been here. If we lose all of those players, we are asking the most incompetent board that I have ever seen at this club to replace them, which is nigh on impossible. Now, they might go down the youth route, they might bring in the likes of Mabry and Carlos Rodriguez, and they might bring in Longstaff, and they might bring in Daniel James, and they might work. But realistically, I think United do need some ready-made players that are at the top of their game. I'm not sure Cillessen fits that bill, to be honest. I'm not sure that I wouldn't rather us go with Dean Henderson or Sergio Romero. But this is apparently what's going on. He wants to leave Barcelona. He's 30 years of age at the moment. He wants to leave Barcelona, and he could be got for a relatively low amount. Probably less than what we're going to cash in on David De Gea for, even though he's only got a year left on his contract. If we lose all of those players in one window, I honestly fear for us. I honestly think that we're going to mega struggle to be able to do anything next season. And if we're going to go and build for a couple of years, so be it. So be it. But I'd like us to come out and say, yeah, Joe, we are going to build for a couple of years. And in 3, 4, 5 years' time, Mason Greenwood's going to be 22 years of age. We got all the time in the world. All the time in the world. Next one is then United linked with 2 strikers as they make Lewandowski transfer inquiry. So this is in the Mirror. It says United appears to be stepping up their hunt for a new striker after being linked to Robert Lewandowski and former Celtic star Moussa Dembele. Doesn't get much more different than that, does it, in terms of the style of striker? According to German magazine Kicker, the Red Devils made an inquiry about the Polish ace Lewandowski as he continues to stall over a new deal at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich don't let people go unless they really want to let them go. So I'd be wary about this one. According to The Sun, Dembele represents a chance for Solskjaer to try and build a young, hungry squad and end the marquee signings who are flattered to deceive at Old Trafford. And then on the opposite hand, we're going for Lewandowski as well. It makes no sense. You can't on one hand be like, Solskjaer's going for a young, hungry squad. We're getting 22-year-old Dembele. Oh, and yeah, and if we don't get that 22-year-old, we're going to get Lewandowski. Who I love, by the way, but strikers don't usually pick up numbers of goals as they get into their 30s. Zlatan's a mega exception to that. I mean, to be honest, depending on the style of play that we're going to go, they both offer something different to what we've got at the moment. They're both totally different in terms of strikers to what we have at the club. I think we've got a little bit of samey, and that might be good for a system that Ole wants, but I do think we need a bit of an option B, and I think both Dembele and Lewandowski would be decent for that. But I don't understand how you can be saying United are going down this route and then have two totally different, completely opposite sort of strikers, which you are looking at there with Lewandowski and Dembele. Like I said, I would take either of them. I'm just not really sure I'm believing. The Lewandowski one. The Dembele one I think is interesting and definitely one that's worth keeping an eye on. This one's utter bollocks, but then again, it is in the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable blog, the Manchester Evening News, and it's saying Thomas Partey release clause revealed amid Manchester United links. So there has been a link with Thomas Partey. His agent was talking on Passion Inter. I don't know what that is, whether that's a blog or a podcast or something. And he says he hasn't talked to anyone. There's a €50 million release clause in his contract. I figure that's cheap for a player. We'll wait for the season to end and we'll see from there. So there is a release clause. He mentions about there being a release clause and he says no one's spoken to them. That's it. No news, but because someone somewhere years ago linked him to United, I guess we're now signing him. The next one on the ins that we've got then is Newcastle United way up approach for Newcastle midfielder Sean Longstaff as Ole Gunnar targets homegrown talent. Did he play about 8 games in last year? From what I saw of him, he looks all right. But I've not seen anything where I go, oh damn. I've been wanting United to start clearing up Premier League players. But when I'm saying clear up Premier League players, I'm talking about Wan-Bissaka, best fullback in the league. I'm talking about Ruben Neves, probably one of the best midfielders in the league. I'm talking about players that you know are going to come in and make an absolute difference. You can go into the bottom 10 teams in the league and pull players out that are better than what we've got at Manchester United. I'm not sure Sean Longstaff is someone that fits that bill. He's young, he's got a lot of future ahead of him, but I think there's far too many question marks about him. If we lose Ander Herrera and possibly Paul Pogba in one transfer window, I think that replacing him with fucking Sean Longstaff is a good idea. That's mental, honestly. That's probably worse than when we lost Ronaldo and got Obertan and Owen. That's the ins. In terms of outs, a little bit of news broke just before we came on, which is that Inter Milan are lining up Darmian, Sanchez and Lukaku. That's mental, and that's what you call taking one for the team. The info that we've got here is about Sanchez. This is from Sky Sports, and it's saying that Sanchez is attracting transfer interest from both Juventus and Inter Milan. There seems to be a lot of that Italy kind of vibe going on lately around him. Not really any substance to him. Sky sources and just garbage, really. There's not really much in it. And also that Lukaku is another one. Ole's keen to offload the striker, reportedly wants to leave United. Reports that Dembele could be seen as a replacement for him. Again, that's from Sky. I think there could be so much movement. My major worry is without a proper plan, without the competency of, like, if we'd have got a director of football in a year ago and tried to embark on this massive rebuilding process right now, I'd feel way more comfortable. But the fact that it's already start of summer, it's already the transfer window and people are already starting to move and United don't even have a director of football in place kind of worries me a little bit. It's going to be a long summer of transfer rumours. Make sure to keep it locked to Full Time Devils for all of those. Give us a like. If you're depressed and you don't get enough sleep, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.